You see here, kid? You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after or what came before. You just gotta bend your knees, take a deep breath, and jump. And you might think, what if I fall? Well, what if you don't? What if you fly?
Switching command to internal.
From the Collaborative Studios, Open the Eye, where metaphysical, paranormal, and the unexplained meet. Open the Eye with Tanya Tyler.
Happy Monday, everyone. So excited. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm very excited always to have different guests on the show. I'm more grateful than anything that people allow me to connect with them and chat with them. And this guest has been on the show before, and I'm very, very honored to be connected to him. His name is Willow Shire. He is a Galactic ambassador, a spirit artist, and an author. Willow, I want to talk a little bit about what the Galactic ambassador part means.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on the show. Again, I love talking with you. And the Galactic ambassador part is this term that my guides came to me with a month or so ago. And they said, you're an ambassador really for all the realms. I work with fairies, dragons, angels, galactics, extraterrestrials, whichever labels you want to use. But they wanted me to start using this term that I am an ambassador, meaning that I am able to connect to beings from other realms, places, spaces, times, all of that, and help people connect to them on their own so that they can start embracing these other beings and understanding they are real, they are here, they're willing to connect and contact us, and they are not to be feared the way that the programming in society has created the energy of fear around them. They're actually very loving and very in this space of wanting to embrace all of those that they're connected to.
It's a beautiful, title to have, but then what you do on the outside is so beautiful as well, connecting. Tell me a little bit about the spirit artist.
So I am a spirit artist, which is where taking that ambassador role, I connect to the beings that are around an individual, so I tap into their energy, and I can see whether they're fairies, extraterrestrials, beings extra to the earth that aren't human, galactics from space, angels, all those labels for all these different things that we have described as fantasy that are actually real. I connect and I draw those images like an energetic resonance of the being that's coming through. And then I give messaging and tools and techniques, and really the biggest thing is validation. Typically I end up validating experiences that other people have had. I'll draw something they've seen, or that individual being will come through and explain an experience an individual had that they haven't told anybody. And they'll be like, oh my God, how did you know that? I'm like, well, there's no way for me to know it if you haven't told anybody. I can't research this stuff. It's all from them. And it's just very validating through not just the reading part. Most people are familiar with a tarot reading or a psychic reading, that type of thing. I do the reading part, but then there's the visual aspect that helps people connect more to those, invisible ones, as some people might say, that are around you. And so I just help bring that into other people's lives.
Is that something that you have done your whole entire life?
I've always drawn as a kid. I didn't realize I was preparing myself to do this when I started drawing. I was in a space that, I was drawing all kinds of beings from Star Wars and all these science fiction, fantasy types of scenarios, and I would always doodle. And there was one point in time, I never knew I would do this work. There was one point in time, 6-7 years ago, I was doodling, and I saw a face, and I was pretty awake and intuitive at the time. And as I was drawing the face, I was on the phone with a web development client, and I realized, I was like, wait a second, I'm drawing their guide. it took a long time for me to realize a lot of the doodles I was doing when I was on the phone with people or around, I was drawing the energy of the guides that I was perceiving around them. And then my guide said, okay, now it's time to embrace this and practice it. And so I went into 6 months or so of just focusing on inviting beings to come to me and practice drawing them. So they would fairies would come up to the door of my house, angels would come in, spirit guides of people, all these, and different realms, so to speak. And they would essentially sit for me, or telepathically, if it was a galactic or somebody else, they'd be in my mind space, and then they would just guide me on how to draw the energy. So it started up more a few years ago, but I had been doing it my whole life, just not in an awareness sense. Even when I was intuitively connected, I just didn't know I was drawing them because I never put two and two together.
What are your galactics telling you, the ones that you're really connected to right now? What are they telling you regarding where we are in this world? Like, what do we need to be working on, or where do we need to be going?
Let me just see what they want to say specifically. Reduction of fear is the biggest thing. It's one they talk about a lot when people ask questions like this with me, and that's what they're pointing at too. There's different topics, like subtopics that they're pointing to, like politics, finance, some of these big things that are out in the we kind of call them like the lower realities of fear and conflict and division. Getting people to understand that their world is a reflection of how they feel inside. And if you're constantly surrounded by fear, if you're constantly enveloping yourself in fear, consuming fear, even things that you may not think are creating fear can create fear. So just being very observational of the things that you're doing, the TV shows you're watching, the media you're consuming, all that, and understanding that you have control of your timelines and control of your individual experience, which means that you are able to shift to a higher experience by healing and releasing the energies inside of you that are very fearful and very emotional. The negative emotions most of them typically come from fear, and they're saying yes, they come from fear, states of fear. So getting down to the core of why are things upsetting you, why are things angering you, why are things creating division between you and others, and are you in an observational space of saying, like, does this serve my reality? Is it something I want to experience, or does it not serve my reality? And what is the truth of the experience that is being shown to you? To remember that in today's current events, the truth is not shown, that you have to be very observational when it comes to the media and the division and things that are trying to be created to really achieve a state of truth. And when you're in a state of truth, you'll be able to release all of the fear because, because it's a knowing. It's you just know you're going to be safe, and all of the things that are going on are actually just diversions from embracing yourself. They want everybody to know to embrace their authenticity, their individuality, their who they are, no matter what. And one of my guides is saying to stop playing games on the level of the people playing the games, to step out of the game, be the observer, and actually be able to walk away from the games that aren't serving you, so that you can heal, grow, learn, embrace yourself, because the energy we're moving into is the energy of truth and authenticity, the energy of deception, the energy of untruth is the word they're using, untruth, the energy of like holding back yourself, holding back your authenticity. This isn't going to help you moving forward. you're actually going to be better off, even though it might be a struggle in the beginning to move into your authenticity. You'll be challenged by the systems that are in place, family, friends, beliefs, society, all of that. Even though it might be a struggle now, embracing your truth and authenticity now is going to serve you much, much better than waiting until later. And they're like, we're done for now.
Thank you so much. That was a good message for everyone to hear, especially since it's been so heavy for so many people with the election and everything. I just know there's been so much division. So those are good messages for people. I want to go back to your Instagram. You do a lot on social media, and I admire that, first of all. But let's talk about some of the readings that you do on social media and how that could help others as they're walking through being authentic and things like that. So you have a couple different things that you do. So let's just talk about the big one that takes you for days. Let's go that way and go down. How's that?
Okay. Yeah, that works perfect. So the biggest thing I do is a divine counsel transmission. And this is a multi-week. It's been taking me like probably 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how many guides come through. But this is a project where I sit down with somebody. I don't even have to know them. I tell the client, don't tell me any of your questions. The whole point is for me to sit down, to draw on a 9x16 sheet of paper every guide that I can fit into that piece of paper. And when I say guide, I mean galactic, fairies, angels, the beings that are around a person that are connected to that person, who are there to help them on their journey. And that's one of the key intentions, is they're there with love in their heart to help the person, to, even if it's just be a friend. And sometimes we've had ancestors and things come through. And that, I think the last one hit 40 beings and almost 40 pages. So it goes through this process of drawing it out, coloring it, and then putting together a PDF document that does messaging for every single one of the beings who comes through. So everybody gets to say something. It's usually a couple paragraphs, and they all talk about different things: health, career, love, family, friends, purpose, all kinds of stuff, and give you tons of tools. Those last for about a year to a year and a half if you use them every day, like I'd say probably every day to weekly, depending on your spiritual schedule.
How when you say to, and I apologize, when you say to how to use them, what does that mean? If
so
you use them,
yeah, these are tools to connect you to the beings, to give you sovereignty. The biggest goal in my work is to create sovereignty so that people aren't relying on others like me. There's this thing in the spiritual community where people rely on tarot readers. They rely on psychics, on all these different types of people. My purpose is to give you tools so that you can help connect yourself to other beings, to source, all of that, and raise your own awareness. The goal of the transmission, all of the messaging that comes through, it's all about embracing your authenticity, connecting more to source, basically becoming a fuller individual that is highly connected as well, so that you can rely on your intuition, you can trust yourself, you can do those things without doing that outside of yourself. And so the whole thing is designed to be a tool that connects you to the beings, the versions of yourself, others that are going to help you on that journey, teach you, hey, how do we enhance your telepathy, your clairaudience? How do we enhance your ability to see things? How do we enhance your physical vessel, just, dietary things, health, all of that? It's this gigantic tool to, and the messaging also describes that. So to answer your question, at like each message, they'll say, hey, you need to do this, and here's an example. If they're saying to switch your diet, they'll usually say start cutting out Gary or something, or they'll give you tips and tricks.
Oh, wow. So it's kind of like a plan.
I had one client call it a spiritual guidebook. Many have called it a book. Spiritual guidebook was one of the terms that sticks out. And that client he had his done it's been over maybe 2 years ago, and he's still using it. These are also things that the energy persists. So the idea is you're not just coming to me and getting like a tarot reading, which is, one and done that day. You're coming to me and getting a tool. And it is a tool that you can use until you out-resonate the tool. So spirit, in any of the forms that I do it, is I always say it's a tool. Remember to meditate on it, to work with it, to utilize it, because it will help you on your journey discovering your sovereignty and trust and truth and all of that.
You go through, let's just say that you wanted to enhance more of one of your clairs, clairvoyant, clairaudient, whatever. It would say, okay, this would be something that Tanya is going to be working on. She wants to work on clairaudient. So this is some of the things that she needs to do so that it can open up more for us.
With the clients that I've done this for, I always say when they book, I go, don't tell me any of your questions. And they go, okay. They're like, what do I do? I go, write the questions down and ask your guides. Now, the reason for this is if I don't know the question, when you get the answer in your transmission, you trust it more, and it's more validating. The clients I've had do this, every single one has been shocked. They're like, every question I've had is answered. And there's no way, how did that happen? And that's the point. It's about validating them talking to their guides, me transmitting information so that there's more trust. So in the case of that, I would say, hey, write down the questions, and you would write down guides, and you might meditate or talk to them out loud, however your spiritual process works, and say, please bring me information on enhancing my clairaudience. And there's going to be some being that comes through and starts talking about, okay, she wants to do this. If she wants to do this, these are the things that she needs to do. And, it's basically a guidebook, a workbook of, here, do these things. And if you stick to them, this is the key. There are some people that, they get these projects and they kind of fall off and they come back. There are others that stick to them fully, and there are others that get it and kind of forget about it. The point is, any of this work that I do, even if it's when we get to the mini readings, even if it's a mini reading, if you use it as a tool, it will help your journey. But if you forget about it, then it's not going to. So they'll even say in there, make sure you come back to this so many times, so many months later, etc., to go back and realize, hey, maybe you wanted to work on your clairaudience, but because you're doing trauma work and you're purging a lot of energy, maybe you aren't ready to do it right now, but here are the instructions to do it. Make sure you come back to this in 3 months, because your energy will be more resonant, and in 3 months you'll be able to use that tool.
Really? It's kind of that detailed?
Yeah. It's to that degree of that level of, here is a spiritual plan. And my guides are saying this right now. They're like, the whole purpose of this was to help people create a spiritual plan, a spiritual workbook of guidance in the steps specific to them and their energy and their resonance in the now moment and the future moment, because they have a path that they are on at this moment, this point in time. And the idea is to give them the tools so that they can take inspired action based on those tools to shift their resonance to a higher reality.
Wow. Okay, so I'm kind of blown away a little bit about this, because there's been times where I'm on my walk in nature and I'm like, I wish I just knew how to do this. Is this the time? Do I need to be doing something different? But sometimes I just want a guidebook, and this is it. I mean, this is what you do.
That's the whole point, is that it's a tool that you can use. And even the cool thing is, even the questions you have now, you'll have questions later. And because time is fluid, it's not linear the way that we see it. they know that at some point in time, you're going to have a question and be like, how do I do this? And if you go back to the transmission, there's oftentimes information in that transmission for a question that comes up 6 months after you had that transmission created, or a spirit art reading or a mini reading, whatever it is. Those tools kind of continue working with you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm excited about this one. So this is called the transmission.
Divine Counsel Transmission.
Divine Counsel Transmission, which just sounds amazing. So I'm excited about this. Okay, let's talk about the other ones that you do.
All right. So after that would be, I do have like a Realms of Awakening, and I'll just briefly describe this because it's covered, kind of includes a lot of stuff. Realms of Awakening is my one-on-one sessions where I work with somebody for about 8 weeks, and we sprinkle spirit art in, and the whole point is it's one-on-one with me, doing meditations, doing different things that helps them connect. But it's all tied back to that spirit art too, so it's just kind of a different version. It's not a spiritual guidebook, it's more of a right now type of situation for people who do that. And then it goes into the spirit art reading, and the spirit art reading is a single kind of more of a one-time thing. So if you think of the Divine Counsel Transmission as the big reading, it's 40 beings come through. It's kind of like 40 individual spirit art readings. The spirit art reading is focused on one being, one individual, unless on occasion they do kind of like do a joint thing and guides come through and work together to create one face. But the idea is one being, so there's more detail, and then we do light codes, and light codes are an energetic physical representation of energy. And so there'll be like healing codes you can meditate on, or different activations and downloads of energy and awareness within that. And that one being gives a reading where they talk about, for a couple paragraphs, whatever you need to know in the now moment, which that's the art part of it. It also comes with like a 30-minute Zoom session with me, where people just ask. I say, whatever questions you have, the whole point of the Zoom session is to clear out any questions somebody has, so the guide can come through with what's more important, and the other kind of basic spiritual questions have been answered. And so they can come through with more validation, and here's what you do next, and the things that there's no way I kind of know about, type of thing.
Is there one that you love doing all the time, that if you could just...
I like doing them all, but Divine Counsel Transmissions are my favorite, hands down.
Why?
The transmissions cover so many different beings, and it's like, with the other ones, I kind of get one client at a time coming, so I get one being I interact with at a time, where with one client, I get 40 beings. So I get to learn about all kinds of different planets, realms, times, histories. The last one came through with several starseed readings in it. They had me do, which is a galactic past life for the individual. So I was able to see multiple past life histories and experience much more is the big thing. That transmission gives me so much more interaction with other energies versus doing them kind of one at a time, if that makes sense.
100%. Do you get healing when you do some of this work for others?
Absolutely. I get healing. I often get, like, they'll be talking to me and downloading a message, and also giving me information for my own awareness and path and that sort of thing. Where a lot of it too is we're kind of all reflections of each other. And so oftentimes what happens is people will come to me because they resonate with my energy in that moment. They're like, okay, it's time for me to get this transmission. But then a lot of the galactics that they're working with, or other beings that are, higher vibrational energies, can kind of see the whole timelines and stuff. They'll also bring through messaging that it's for the client, but I read it, I'm like, is that for me? That can't be for the client. Is that for me type of thing? And turns out the client's going through the exact same thing that I'm going through, and we both needed the same messaging.
Wow.
So a lot of, as it comes through, there are pieces that they'll be like, pay attention to this. This is also for you to be aware of. Or even just educational things where they're like, they're teaching a client different things. I've had them actually instruct clients on how to do energetic hand movements, specific hand movements in past lives to do energy work and all of this other stuff where I'm drawing out the hand movements. And so I also get the kind of like the education of these other spaces and histories and all of that, and just more awareness, I guess, is the big thing for me, is more awareness of what's out there and the possibilities.
It's such a beautiful thing to be able to connect, but also to have someone be able to help you connect when we're all going through some stuff that we need to clear or connect. So that makes beautiful sense. I want to know, is there a way that you can give us like a little sample using me on some kind of a reading? Since we're on the radio right now, is there a way that you can tap into me or something? Do something like that?
Yeah.
We're going to take a little break so you can get kind of set up. For our sponsors, you're listening to KWVH. You can always stream us every Monday night at 10 p.m. Central Time. And if you have any questions, and you can always connect up with me with openthei13@gmail.com. We'll be right back with Willow Shire, who is a Galactic ambassador, a spirit artist, and an author. And we'll see if he can connect to my guides. Be right back. We are back. We're talking to Willow Shire, Galactic ambassador, spirit artist, author. You can find him on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all Awaken with Willow. And he does readings on Instagram. He does group readings. He does divine transmission readings. Right now, we're going to have him do something for me, right? Like connect, so we can do a little sample for others, so people can see kind of a little thing of what you do.
Yeah, we'll see what comes up here. It might take me a second to tap in. Do anything they want me to do. I kind of have this affirmation I say, and they want me to say it so people can hear it,
okay.
Because I kind of say it before we set the intention and energy of doing anything. We only work with beings of the highest good, the highest benevolence, the realms of right, the golden light of source, who operate with love and light in benevolent purpose and intention. We are sovereign. It is so. I say that every time I do a reading to set the intention that only the beings that I'm willing to work with are going to come through, and nothing that's like not of a person's highest good type of situation. So you're releasing solar plexus. I keep hearing solar plexus energy, which I know you said you were dealing with some energy and clearing and stuff. That's solar plexus. That's the gut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they're having me put my hand into the gut. Karmic and past life storage. So a lot of it's not even from this lifetime. It's clearing stuff that you've carried with you. The vibrational shifts are pushing you to a space where you have to purge, have to absolutely purge to keep going forward. It's going to mean a shift in your diet. Have you started to notice changes in your diet, cravings that are going away, and things you can't eat anymore?
Yes.
What's interesting is I'm trying to get them to give me like a galactic guide to come through too, rather than just some general messaging. It's almost like, so I'm thinking you don't eat plant-based right now, because it's like they're like, we're gonna start pushing her towards more plant-based to be aware of, and like an energy moving towards that to help clear some things out. And when I say that, it's just to be clear too, when it comes to diet, it's all individual. But a lot of them do end up shifting us towards more plant ratios, I guess is the way to say it. I think you have a naga around you.
What's that?
So a naga is a snake humanoid type of being, like Medusa probably would have been considered a naga. This one looks like a cobra-headed one now. Galactic. Do you have a resonance with snakes at all?
Yes, in some sense, yes.
Like, not afraid of them?
Yeah, not afraid of them. No, I think that they're magical.
Yeah, you have some kind of naga guide that's like heavily. That's the only one I'm really seeing. And there's they want me to tell you a little bit about them. This one's from the Hydra constellation, star system somewhere in the Hydra constellation, and they're helping you with health. They have the energy of like a healer, but a healer in the sense of its physical vessel. So part of the energy you're releasing too is for physical health. Ensure your physical vessel is like continuing to move and shift as well, without running into issues. A lot of people end up running into issues as the vibrations shift, and they encounter physical health symptoms because they're not releasing energy. And that's part of what you're doing right now. When you had mentioned like going through a huge release, that release is purposeful. Like, it's like you must do it to not create some physical manifestation of what is being held.
Okay.
Feel free to ask any questions too if I'm talking.
No, you're right on. So far, dead on with this. And
I'm going to say what they're telling me to say.
Say it.
One of the things they are pointing to are your. I'm just trying to figure out if it's. I feel like it's your ovaries.
Okay.
Do you have issues with your ovaries?
No, not really. Ovaries? No, I only have one ovary. Thank you. I couldn't remember. I had one removed.
Maybe there's something there. Because it's like, I couldn't figure out. I'm like, okay, are they showing me an ovary, but they were showing me a tube, but they were the ovary. So that would make sense, the way that they were showing that to me. There's something there energetically, and I feel like part of the energy you're releasing is also from some of that stuff.
Okay.
And they keep coming back to like past life trauma and things of that nature, that if you are in a space or able to do like journey meditations and stuff, and doing meditations on your past life, and just setting the intention of like, hey, what do I need to know to release this energy? They'll show you the fragments of lives that you need to be aware of to be like, why is this energy here?
Okay.
which when you understand that, from my experience of doing that, when I understood my past lives, it was like in an instant, everything released because I understood why the energy was here. And I was like, oh, it's not meant to be here right now. And it just goes away. There's that Naga guide that's around you. There are others. Fairies from the woods just want to be mentioned. They're showing me, so I believe you shared a picture of a river or a creek once, and they're showing me that picture.
Oh, nice.
If you remember that picture or that location,
yeah,
they're from there.
Okay.
They're from that place.
That's funny because I always say there's fairies there. I could feel them.
Yeah. Well, that would be why. They're just looking for acknowledgement, which is typically that's all they just pop in and say, please say hi. Yeah, you're on a healing journey right now. Is the big messaging they're giving me is just that just to be aware you're on a healing journey, and to even so here's the thing they're saying: even though you pushed through today, remember that it is okay to step back and heal and let yourself release energy. Part of the reason you pushed through was because you were going to talk to me and they wanted you to talk to me. But that when you feel like, hey, I have to release energy and all that, to remember you're an energetic being, and it is okay to step back from the physical work, to take a day to just say, I need to do some energy work and clear and ground, go into nature, eat some healthy meals, get some sunlight, and just reset so that you can be more grounded and clear of whatever you're trying to heal when you do the physical work.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you to all that showed up for Willow to connect with and give me these beautiful messages. Willow, what kind of reading is this that you just did for me?
Typically, that would be kind of like a mini reading. The difference is that you would have art that would be with it. And when I'm on Instagram Live, I typically have a realm that I pick each week and say, like, the next one's going to be dragons. And so whoever books a reading, I'll draw a dragon, and that's around them. I tap in and pull that energy in. And as I'm drawing, I start talking to them like I did with you, and they might ask questions and that too. For you in this case, and I'll make sure I send this to you, is I was doing light codes, and so it's like drawing for me is a tool to help me tap into your energy. And then so I'll send you the light codes afterwards, and it's what I always tell people, whether it's a visual image of a being, which is also a light code, or just scribbles on a paper the way that I'm going to show you. It's something that is a tool for me to focus and then for you to utilize and meditate on. So they bring through energy that you can meditate on, and when people do that, they typically start feeling a lot of things that for you it's probably going to be related to that energy, those energy centers we were talking about in the healing stuff. For other people, they, like the Divine Council transmission where I sent that to a woman, she's like, as I was reading it, her clairaudience opened right up and she started hearing. So it's all about utilizing that tool, that visual tool, that you can walk away from a reading and be like, hey, I have this image. I can look at it at any time. It's on your phone, and pull it up, and in the moment it can connect or heal or do different things.
This is something you do on Instagram. Do you do it every week? And then we can sign up? How do we do all this?
So you would go to my Instagram, Awaken with Willow, and just follow me. And then I say weekly. It kind of varies. It's all dependent on energy. I'm very in the flow of energy, and my guides will be like, do one this week, and then maybe 8-9 days later the next one comes. But if you go to my Instagram and just follow along, you'll see those posts come up that say, hey, there's a live coming up. And I do post them to TikTok too. I just say in the comments, like, you don't have to be on Instagram. You just have to book. And if you're not present for the live, and this has been a big help for a lot of people, is that if you can't make the live, I just do a 10-minute recording and send that to you after within a few days. So you don't have to attend the Instagram live, but the Instagram live gives you more of a in-person interaction to ask questions and things as it's going on.
So you do an Instagram live, but they see you, but you don't see them.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And if somebody wanted to, let's just say they don't have Instagram, how would they be able to connect up with you outside of Instagram or any social media?
The best way would just be my website, awakenwithwillow.com, and there's, the booking forms or the contact form is on there too.
Okay, that's beautiful. Now, can I share my stuff with you?
Yeah.
I am releasing Past Life. It came last Wednesday. I was able to see it. I was on a massage table, and she does some energy work, and we weren't looking for it. Nor did I go to her to do that. I was actually just getting a body massage, and I was presented with some anger. People came at me with some anger, and I, okay, what am I looking at? Why am I seeing this anger? And so I got onto the table, and within 5 minutes, I had already started crying, and I saw one of my past lives. Saw the guilt that I was holding on to from letting people down. And that was pretty remarkable. I continually hear shift your diet, and it's slowly moving into different directions. So the meat has slowly moved away, but I haven't let go of it yet. And I know that I keep hearing that it will do it in its due time. I have just recently connected to my chakras in certain areas and realized since I was a little girl, I always had solar plex issues, and I didn't know that. And when I had some sexual trauma happen as a little child, and I always got solar plexus. Like I could always feel my solar plexus almost like, I don't know if they were inflamed or what they were doing, but there would be times where I couldn't function with the solar plexus, if that makes sense. Like I couldn't function. Like I worked at Nordstrom. Here I am, here I am, very elegant, and I'm showing you jewelry. And my solar plex would freak out a little bit, and I would have to go and sit down. So it's interesting you called the solar plex.
Yeah, that's all very validating for me, and that's what I say. What I like to say is you sharing that validates what I was saying to you, saying this is what they're telling me, and I have no idea, but this is what they're showing me imagery wise, and so that just validates me as well. And that's what I felt with the diet too. It's just not time yet, and I know that's a big thing in the spiritual community that I do a lot of videos on diet shifts, and it's just take it. Every individual is different. Take it at your own pace and switch to whatever you're guided to switch to over time, and that'll help shift the energy.
I just felt heavy today, I've been heavy, but I've been shown a lot because one of the things that I'm working on, and you really, really brought this to my attention, and I use it all the time, is authentic. Sprinkled it through my world prior to you, but you really you said it a few times tonight, and you said it, again, being authentic. And it's something that I really have been asking to step into my authentic person and release what no longer serves me. That's where I've been. So with you doing this, and I wanted to just give samples for people that are interested in what you do, because you're a beautiful soul. And I want to share you with as many people that needs to hear this or wants to connect. I want to share that piece because I'm grateful for you.
Thank you.
As I'm scrolling through TikTok, somebody sent me your video that you were going to Mount Shasta, that you had gone to Mount Shasta a few months back, but you were getting ready to go to Mount Shasta. And within seconds, I was instantly messaging you. I messaged a lot of people and no one really ever gets back to me, but you did. And now I see why. So I just want to make sure that people understand if you are needing any of these services, there's people like you, Willow, that are loving creatures because you're pure love. Your vibration is pure love.
I'm super grateful to be on here and to be doing this with you again. And I just want to say, too, that I'm also not somebody that charges if you reach out. I've heard so many times people say, I just have a simple question, and as long as I don't have to tap into energy, meaning I don't have to do a reading or anything like that, oftentimes people reach out and they'll be like, say it's Sasquatch, they'll be like, hey, I'm trying to learn about Sasquatch. Can you help me out? And I just go, yeah, here's some videos. Here's some content. And that's part of what we're supposed to do in a loving frequency is help people. And so for those of you who are having questions and just need, help that I might already have content for, just reach out, ask the question. I always say there's no wrong question. There are only wrong answers. So
I like that.
Feel free to if I don't have the answer, I might be able to point you to somebody who does.
I love that. That is what I love and adore about you, Willow Shire, who is an ambassador. He is a galactic ambassador, spirit artist, an author. We didn't really talk about your books, but can we just kind of mention a little bit about those right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a series of spiritual books, and they cover everything from fairy. One of them's on fairies, one's on galactics and extraterrestrials. One's a journey book I took into New Mexico and all these experiences I had with all those beings. I have workbooks, and I have a visual spirit art book that has galactics in their visual likeness and messaging alongside what they said. And you can find all of those on awakenwithwillow.com. And the cool part is that all of the ebooks, so everything except for the visual book, is in ebook format. The ebooks are all free if you want to read them.
Oh, that's beautiful. And we can find all that on awakenwithwillow.com. And
right.
If they have a question or anything, they can message you through Instagram or TikTok or just go through the website and they can do that.
Right.
Oh, Willow, I love and adore you. Thank you so much for just having such high frequency and just being this just authentic person out there. And if you're interested in any of his readings or connecting up with him, asking him about fairies, anything, Sasquatch, just go ahead and do that and he will connect up with you. Willow, thank you so much. I would love to try to put something down on the books in the future for you to come maybe to Wimberley, Texas and do some classes or some teachings or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's look at that sometime in the future. And when the timing is right, everything's just going to line up.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. This was it was different for a different type of interview for me, and it was absolutely great.
Willow is such an amazing person. When I'm on the phone with him, it feels like so much energy is running through me because his energy, his vibration is high, and that reading's crazy, right? He never, ever talked to me about past lives. We've never even talked about that. So there's no way that he would just know from me saying that. But yes, that is definitely what I'm going through, is shedding this past life, which is interesting to me because I do hypnosis, which is a past life regression, QHHT. I have seen my past life, but this is a different past life. And this past life was showing me where I am in my waking life. Because I have been in leadership roles, managing, running my own business. And these roles, I've always gotten up to the highest place that I can. And then it's like I crash and burn. And not because I'm overwhelmed, because I always have been fearful of responsibility. Isn't that weird? Responsibility. Yeah, like having too much responsibility. Managing Nordstrom's at one time, I lived in Seattle. When I managed Starbucks, somebody would call in sick. So then I'm now, instead of having a 9 o'clock shift, now I have at 4:45 and I've already been up. This leadership role has always come to me, and then I always just crumble it. And that was part of one of my past lives. Isn't that wild? It's like, I love how all this is just showing us these mirrors on what we need to clear or how we can clear things in our lives. And this just happened to be mine. And he pulled it up, which I thought was really pretty remarkable, since I kind of just sprung that, hey, can you do this right now. So I love this. I love how we share. I love that you're part of this. So thank you. If you do have any thoughts, questions, anything that you want, make sure that you connect up with Willow. Because like I said, he's such a genuine soul that if he doesn't have to pull up this energy and sit down and do energy work, he'll answer a question like, talk to me a little bit about fairies. And he's rattled some stuff, or he's given me things on his site that he has done that will show me the answer to the question that I have. So I hope that you connect up if this is in your pathway. And I'm very grateful for all of you just to have some time and share. And thank you so much. And as we're all clearing some of our garbage, just know that we're all holding light for each other and that we're all one. And as I hold light for all of you listening, and I'm grateful for you, I know you're holding light also as much as you can. So thank you so much. And if you want to be a guest or anything on the show, listen up. Here's how you do it.
Thank you for listening to Open the Eye. To be a guest on the show, go to opentheye.com, or you can email at opentheye13@gmail.com. We appreciate you.